Hi, this is Rodrigo from Frame Freak Studio, and this is the Creative Hostler Show. Today I have a student of the Woodbury University that we found her artwork through CTMX last year. Her name is Sefra Orlick, and she is a character developer, and visual developer who has a passion for designing kind of monsters and things like that. So, welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having me.
First of all, I would like to ask you about to tell us about your history. How did you get started into art? What was that got you into this? Was something that you were doing since you were a kid or something like that?
Yeah, so I got started when I was really little, maybe about 7. I was in a comic book store and I found a toy that I really liked. It was from the show Digimon. It was like a cute little monster action figure. I loved it. I said to myself then, I want to be able to make monsters like this. I want to be able to draw things like that. So that's pretty much where it started. And so ever since then, I've just been drawing a lot. I realized that, this is what I wanted to do for a career. And so it pretty much just since that toy, I have that to thank for getting me started and getting into drawing, especially, creature design, character design, and telling stories too is what I really like to do.
What is it about like monsters and creatures that you really find a passion about?
Well, I don't know. I've always liked them. I think when I was little, I was always really into dinosaurs in particular. I think the first book I read was about dinosaurs, so I always just liked them so much. So when, also when I was growing up, there were a lot of things like Pokemon was just coming out, and Digimon and a whole bunch of monster things were really big. So having those in, when I was growing up was a big factor, I think, and leading me to liking them so much. So that's definitely a big thing. I also like monsters because, you're not limited by anything. You can pretty much make them anything you want. You want to put a robot arm on them, go for it. You want to give them 20 heads, it's fine. It's fun. You get to stretch the imagination.
Nice. Also, when you chose the how did you have the support of your parents, like to go into art? Because there are some people who are like having hard time to get the support of their family to go into an art career. Was that something that you went through, or what? Or were they supportive?
Yeah, for the most part, my family was pretty supportive. Since I've been drawing for so long, I think they knew that was what I wanted to do. My mom was especially supportive. My dad was always like, why don't you draw something pretty? His parents were, oh, draw flowers for me, which was fine, but that was pretty much the only, trouble I had was, that side of the family always wanted me to draw something cute and like portraits and things. But otherwise, I didn't really have too much of a hard time going into it, which I'm really grateful for, that they were supportive of me going into art, and they, for the most part, put up with my monsters, especially.
I understand kind of that because now I'm more into like the business side of things in the animation studio that we have, but mainly because I used to do a lot of art when I was a kid and teenager going into college. But since art for me was more not something to go for the professional side, but on the hobby and a way to take off my stress out of it. So, and because it was a way to take out of the stress, I will be used to draw like really dark stuff, like, like monsters and wolves and things like that. And I had the same thing as like, why don't you draw something cute? And it's like, no.
No.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you about your experience in the university and what do you like most about it?
Yeah, so I thought the university experience was pretty good. What I liked is that, you take a lot of classes, so you learn things that you didn't necessarily focus on a lot before. So it gives you a well-rounded education. So like, I didn't draw backgrounds too much or layouts, so it was really good to have the class, and I learned a lot of stuff from it, in other areas of animation that I wasn't, necessarily, not that I wasn't into, but I didn't really know as much. So it was definitely helpful to have people teaching it to you and, you know, helping you learn. And it would also, you know, the assignments to help you develop those skills better. Because there were, you know, you think you know a lot, but there's so much that I mean, I didn't know, which really helped me. It made me a lot more well-rounded. And now, you know, it gives, even the stuff I'm not as strong in, it let me know what I really wasn't strong in so I could work on it more. So, and also, you know, it gives the opportunity to like work on a film in school, which was nice to do, and work in group films, which, you know, maybe I wouldn't have had as much opportunity, especially with the group film at the time, if I wasn't there. So I thought it was really helpful. I enjoyed it.
When I found like people who have gone through college, some of them things like having a good teachers and having good mentors was the thing that really helped them out, and others found the help that they needed more in the community that they had around them in the college. What was it for you?
Well, so it definitely helps in, you know, in your classes to have, you know, good teachers. That helps a lot because, you know, you can sometimes have good teachers and bad teachers. That makes all the difference. I had, you know, some classes that, you know, and just in general, you know, it helps a lot to have that sort of good, you know, good teachers to help you, you know, tell you maybe like things that'll help you or things that maybe you can improve. Critiques helped a lot, but you know, also outside of school, it's good to, you know, I've met people outside of school that have been really helpful. Some people who are either in the industry or not, who also can help you, and they don't have to be a teacher or anything, but someone else who's in the same field as you can help a lot. Just to see also having new eyes on your artwork, anything that helps is really great to have someone try to help you out on the way.
And when you joined in, what was your goal? Like some people have this goal of joining Pixar, joining Disney, or some studio. What's the goal that you are after?
Well, the goal that I'm after, you know, I guess I always wanted to tell stories, especially, you know, so I wanted to make my own story. So part of that was, you know, I'd like to pitch shows. So I've been developing a bunch of ideas. And also, so I started a webcomic about 2 years ago, which was you know, a good start into that. So it's been going on for 2 years now. So I've been using that to tell a story, which has been a lot of fun. It probably still go on for a while longer, but that's what I like to do the most. So eventually, you know, my goal would be to, you know, get a big story out there, whether it be on TV or, you know, a big comic or, you know, anything like that. Because I just like, you know, making, you know, having my own characters, have a story, get to, you know, a lot of jokes sometimes. And it also helps the drawing skills a lot to keep developing new stories, keeping the ideas fresh. So that would be it's pretty much always been my biggest goal, is to definitely tell stories. After watching so many cartoons growing up, they made me really happy. I wanted to do that the same for other people, to make something like that.
Also, since the point that you are starting like creating a lot of stories for yourself and trying to do all these, do you protect your stories in some way? Do you register them, like for example, in the American Writers Guild or something like that?
No, I haven't used that per se, but I do you know, go through my stories for years. I revise them. I tell people about a good amount of them, and so I plan them for a while. Sometimes some are faster to develop and some are slower, but you know, I take the time, you know, working on those and getting those out there, which is fun. You know, it's a lot of fun. So right now, while I have one webcomic going, I'm already thinking of all the other stories I'm going to make, whether it be a webcomic or like a short film or a film, you know. So it's definitely good to get the opinions of others, though. So I like to see what other people have to think about them.
Great. Also, how do you feel that since the internet and the technology pretty much has evolved a lot, and it's helping us, like even with this, like this didn't exist a couple of years ago, how do you feel that it has helped you to grow as an artist?
The internet has definitely helped a lot. It's been really great. You know, when you post on social media a lot, I think it's great. You get a lot of more people to see your stuff that normally no one would ever probably see, or not as many people would see it. So you have a lot of people, you know, looking at it. And so I post on Instagram about every day with something new, and it's always good to see that, people are looking at it. And then, I've met some people from social media online that it has been really good. A lot of good connections from it, just from things online. And for the webcomic, that's been really great because you put something out there that people are actually reading. You don't know the people, and they're reading it. So it's a great way to connect and get other people's opinions, or get some, critiques, some suggestions, and just all in all, I find it really helpful. It's, and then you have your information out there so people can find you. And I've noticed it being pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it. Mostly just good stuff.
That is really lucky. Like, that means that, I think that means that you're really in a great path, because again, like, the internet has these amazing abilities to do a lot of things, but also has like a lot of trolls.
Yeah.
And I think it's normal to find some of those in the path. Also, something that I wanted to ask you, when you see other people trying to start like into this type of careers, into arts, into all this, have you noticed like a mistake that most people do that maybe they are not aware that they are doing?
So maybe things that people going into it. I don't know. I guess what when I see people like that are new, sometimes I notice that people are maybe they underconfident maybe, or they don't sell their, some people don't sell their work. And I think it's just a matter of, you just have to go for it. It doesn't really matter if you're confident. You just have to pretend that you are. Just if someone says, oh, your work's great, even if you think it's the worst drawing you ever put together, just say, oh, no, thank you. Just thank them. Don't say, oh no, it's no good. I used to be like that. It's much better if you can at least, the more you just say, thank you, or just try to be confident, the better it'll be. And just, I think for artists not to get too stressed out over their work. I think, everyone's got a different path. So, work hard at what you're doing, because, not to just get like frustrated if there are people who are maybe faster than you, better than you, that you think, because, you'll get there even if you're not as fast, or if you have like artists that you look up to, don't, just keep working to get better. So I think the biggest thing is not to get too stressed out. Just find something in that you enjoy, so it doesn't bog you down.
How did you deal with it? Because I know a lot of artists, even in my team, I have people who I consider like, oh, like, damn, this guy or this girl is like really good. And then you talk to them and you realize that they are not that confident about their art, and they have like a lot of doubts. Since you told me that you were like that in the past, like, how did you deal with that?
I think you just have to do the fake it till you make it. You just have to, when people say, your stuff is good, like I said, you just have to say, thank you. Not to be like, it's not like being like cocky about it or anything. Just, at least when you appear confident, I think the more you do it, the better it gets. So it's hard, because it's like, it's always easy to be nervous about a drawing. I still am. I just think the best thing you can do is just go for it. If you have like drawings and you're like, I don't know if I should share these, just put them up anyway. That's what I think. So it is easy to be, underconfident, because everyone's seeing your work. You're always thinking, oh, is this good, man? They're not going to like this one. So it's always in the back of the mind. You just have to push yourself through and just say, it's okay, I like it. Or, someone's going to like it, maybe not everyone, but there's somebody out there, who's going to say it's okay. So I'm sure that, it's one of those things. I don't think it's something easy to get rid of. It's not for me, but at least if you can try to make it at least seem like you're confident, I think it makes it a little bit better. It makes it a little bit easier. I think just make it seem that way. I don't want to make that sound bad, but it's just something. It's it's a process. You just have to keep going, and it gets better. I was so much worse before. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We found your work, like I mentioned before, through the CTNX. Like, they gave us this. And there was, here's where we found your work and decided to contact you. Did you go to these events, or is there any other events that are your favorite that you go to?
So, yeah, so I went to, yeah, CTN was pretty much my first one that I mean, it was the first time I held a booth there was back in November, but I was there before, you know, just to go around, and that's a really great event. I've heard of DesignerCon is new, so I might check that out. That's also, it might actually be right when CTN is, so I'll see. But that was also, I think that started last year. And so there are a lot of other conventions. I've been finding ones for comics in particular, which I'm thinking of going into with my web comics. I just had printed editions made recently from a Kickstarter, so I thought that would be something interesting to go to also. And then things like I guess like maybe Anime Expo, but that's pretty crowded, but that's a really good place where there's a lot of people looking at your stuff. I mean, you can't even walk through that, so many people are there. But those are good ones too, but I thought CTN was pretty great.
Yeah, for us it was, we come from a very small country in Central America, and CTNX was like our first big event. And as I hear, like last year was really full of people compared to other years. So that was a little bit crazy on us because we were trying to take all of this and try to see everything, and pretty much our brain was overloaded. So do you have any tips for people like us who are like pretty much noobs in events, so we can make the most out of this type of events?
Yeah, I think the best way to make the most out of those events is definitely to probably go, you know, for all the days that they have it. Just walk around, take your time, you know, because there's, you know, what is it? It's 4 days, so there's, you know, time to go through, especially if you go like when you really want to go around all the tables when it gets close to closing, people really clear out. They're always there right when you get in. But so, yeah, just, it's hard not to be overwhelmed when there's a lot of people. You know, you want to get to a booth and everyone's there. So, you know, I guess all I can say is just gotta walk around, find the booths you want to go to. If there's a long line, you know, wait for them or come back. It's good that there's a few days for it. Some days are definitely busier than others, but yeah, just in general, just get the most out of it. It's, you know, it's great to be there. I would, you know, just try to get to as many booths as possible. There's a lot, you know, see what the companies have to say. Also the panels, but you have to get there lined up nice and fast for some of those. But yeah, just pretty much not to just get overwhelmed. I'm sure the more you go, the better it'll be.
Also, one of our team members, I didn't expect that, but she was like really, really shy. Like, I never saw her like that kind of nervous until she was there. Do you have an advice for people who are like really shy into going into this type of events and how to deal with it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm really shy too, actually. So I have a very hard time with that myself, honestly. It's very hard for me to go up and start talking to people, especially at these booths, just like, how do I start that conversation? So, you know, it's hard. That's honestly probably my hardest part too, actually. You know, so, you know, I think it's good to just have like exactly, you know, as bad as it sounds, I'd rehearse things. If you have someone in particular you want to talk to, think through your head a few times, like how, you know, what are you going to say so you don't mess up? That's, you know, that's what I learned from my public speaking class. That's the only way I passed that. But also, if you're in a group of people, maybe you want to like talk to some of the other artists, and you like at CTN, and you don't really know how to start a conversation. I find a good thing is to just start drawing, because people will usually look at what you're drawing, and it's a good way to start a conversation. It's a good way. If you're a little too shy to maybe talk to some of the people, that's a good way I found to do it. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's hard. You know, you just have to pump yourself up and think in your mind this, you know, I want to talk to these people. I think the hardest part is just figuring out how to start the conversation. Once you start the conversation, it's pretty good.
Actually, funny that you mentioned that, because in the middle of the event, like she had like this panic attack. So pretty much she went to the Copics booth and started drawing with the comics and pretty much closed herself there. And because she was drawing, like, and she is really good at it, like, everybody was, like, jumping in on her, and she was, like, trying to get help from me to, like, to socialize, and I was like, bye-bye! It was kind of funny. Also, what is it about art that pretty much uh, draws you or makes you go into this path? Because let's be honest, it's not a path that many people follow, and I think there is kind of this little bit of craziness that we have to have.
Yeah.
What is it about that made you go through it?
Well, it's hard to explain. I just love to do it. It's, when you have like things that, that draw you, it's hard to say. Like, some people are drawn to soccer, some people are drawn to video games. I mean, I guess I'm drawn to video games too, but especially drawing. So, I think a lot of it has to do with just, I loved watching cartoons growing up. I loved playing video games with cool characters in it, and then, watching pretty much all sorts of stuff. And I just thought that, this is something I just, when I started drawing, it's like, this is what I like to do. And it's never really been like a question for me, something about being able to create something out of nothing and, give like just a drawing a personality, and also something that you can always improve upon is pretty, it's pretty cool that you can always learn something and always, get better. There's so many different forms of art also you can work on in an animation. And that's always drawn me. And also it's fun it's always been fun to draw something and see what other people think, especially when you draw something that's super weird or just really dumb, to get people's opinions on something like that also. Also, it's a great thing to just, when you're shy like me, when you'd be sitting in school and you're like, well, I don't, who do I talk to? So I just draw. And that was, gives you a, great thing to do and keeps you busy when you have to take notes in a lecture, right? But just in general, I've always just liked being able to make something that people can enjoy, that would make people smile, and it, makes me happy too. So it's not a, a super complicated thing that draws me to it. It's just, I like it, and I see how other things, like all the things I've liked have, really inspired me. You can probably see behind me, I got a lot of toys and stuff. Like, so all of that stuff that's always, excited me, and that's what draws me to art. Is I could draw something like those things and all the stuff that has always made me happy.
Are there like artists that you admire that help you to be like your influence into doing your own art?
Yeah, definitely. Probably like the first two that come to mind is probably like Akira Toriyama from Dragon Ball Z, and he did Dragon Quest, and also Kenji Watanabe. There's not a lot of info on him, but he did the artwork for Digimon. I just love their stuff. It's crazy. It's got a lot of color, a lot of personality, and those are probably the two biggest artists. But I like so many more. And stuff from just a lot of I look at like cartoons and games, and I see what I like from those, especially. So, my work has been inspired by a lot of stuff like SpongeBob, with all those crazy expressions. A lot of like older anime mangas have that kind of style, has always been something I liked a lot. So pretty much things like that have been, those sort of artists are my favorite. Just kind of just not like super serious stuff, pretty fun, pretty energetic and lively, has been pretty good. I have some manga artists that interest me as well, so usually along those areas.
Also, on the internet topic, what are like the portals of the channels that you love the most in order to put out your art, like Instagram, Pinterest? What are your favorites out of them?
My favorite is definitely Instagram. That's the one I found to be like it has a lot of people on it, so there's always a lot of people that are going to be looking at it, and I don't even know how people always find things in the tags, but they do. They find you in there. So I find it easy to post on. There's a lot of people, and it's just an easy place. You can just upload something every day, that's what I do every day. I just upload something new, and there's a lot of artists on there. So you know, there's a lot of, you know, so you can follow a lot of really great artists. There's, you know, a lot of professionals on there, a lot of studios. I find it better. I've liked it more than for artwork than things like Twitter and like Tumblr. Tumblr was okay, but you know, I don't think it's harder for, I think, people to find your stuff through the tags there, especially if it's not like fan art. But in Twitter, I tried that for a little while. I didn't find it as I didn't find the like the activity from, you know, on it as strong as it was on like Instagram. So I think that one's the best. You just easy to post, and then you can kind of, it's really easy to see everyone's like drawing. So, you know, you can go through my profile and you can see everything. You go to someone else's, it's all there. So I found that to be probably my favorite still so far.
Also, we come from a country that pretty much doesn't have like many options to study art. There is graphic design, and that's it. Pretty much that's the only options that we have. So the internet for us was like a huge tool, because when it started evolving, kind of in the 2010s and so, like it became so great where it was like, holy shit, we can do stuff here. And then we follow the rabbit hole, and there we are. But do you recommend, or do you know about any portals that people in country like us can use, like Schoolism or something like that, websites or channels in YouTube where they can learn about art that you have used yourself?
That's a good question. You know, I go through a whole bunch of different things. So, you know, whenever I need to, you know, look for certain things, I go to them. But, you know, pretty much, you can pretty much look up everything and you'll find something for it, which is pretty cool. You know, so like sometimes I want to look up certain things, you know, there's always a YouTube video for it. It's weird, there's always a book for it too. You wouldn't think. But I think, you know, the good thing about online is pretty much everything's there. So like for, like let's say you can't go out to go figure drawing, you know, you can't get someone to do like a live pose. You know, I found a lot of websites that actually, you know, do that, you know, allow you to do that. Like there'll be like photos. I've even found some that do live streams of posing sessions, which I found, you know, which I think are really helpful if you can get on those, because, you know, sometimes you can't go out and you can't go in to draw them all. And I think that's a really helpful thing. And, you know, just like I said, I'm sorry, I can't recommend some specific channels, because I usually just, when I look for something, you know, you know, you need to learn line, you want to learn something different about stop motion, you want to learn something about 3D. There's always like a tutorial out there somewhere, whether it's on YouTube or somewhere else, that you can look at just to help you learn something. Or people always put together things like that, which I find really helpful. I'm sorry I don't have some actual names for you.
Don't worry. Yeah, pretty much that is something that when people get maybe too stuck in their heads, like I tell them, okay, like there is this website, you know, that is called google.com, like you search something, there's like 60,000 results over there. Also, something that I wanted to ask you, what do you feel about the field of the university? That is something unique to it that you wouldn't be able to find, like study by yourself.
Yeah, I think just the university, like in general, I thought it was great. You know, you're around a lot of people who are also in the same thing, so you get to see what they're doing. You get to learn from your peers that are just all there for the same thing. My school was small, so I was pretty much with the same students actually, like in my classes for almost the entire 4 years. But what I think is unique is, again, you have to learn a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't think about learning. You have to do like all different kinds of animation. I wouldn't have probably ever done that, or I would have maybe done it, but not like the way that they did, you know, with the certain kind of challenges. And you have the equipment there too, which makes it possible. Like I don't have necessarily stop motion equipment at home, so I was able to learn that, and I learned how to make those sort of like stop motion puppets. And what I like is, again, you're around a lot of people, you can see what they're doing, and everyone pretty much is drawing something else. They're all into different things. And it's great to see how, you know, everyone else and how they do it, what they're doing, and all the different things that you learn. And it was good because you develop your skills with these people too. They let you know, oh, Sefra, like this is good stuff, or change this. I like the critiques a lot. You don't get, I think, those kind of critiques when you're by yourself. So when you can get those critiques, even if they're harsh, they're good to have. So I always appreciated those. I probably wouldn't have gotten them anywhere else, and especially if you get them from like a lot of friends and not necessarily faculty, then you don't know if you're always getting like the honest like truth. So I thought that was something very helpful, that I didn't necessarily have as much access to it that than if I wasn't at university. But I definitely recommend it if it's something people can go to, and if not, there's all this stuff online. You can find communities online that have people who are willing to do that for you. There will be people that will critique, people to brainstorm with you, to work with you. So that's always a good thing. And you can always, and if you can find people around you that are into it or just want to look at your stuff, or people who have worked in those jobs, or anyone really, just it's good to have other people, which is why college is great. You're stuck with people. You got to work, learn with them, which is nice.
Also, what are 3 challenges that you could put to people who want to start like getting better in their art?
3 challenges. Well, let's see. The first challenge is like not letting yourself, I think, get down or anything. I find people who are just like, I'm just not good enough, or this person's, this artist is so much better than me. I find a lot of people get a little down on that sometimes. I used to, but you pretty much just have to just say, you know what, it's okay. Maybe I'm not that good now. I'm gonna get better. Maybe that artist that I admire will someday admire me. So that's something I think, just to keep going. So that's a challenge. It's hard for some people to get over, especially when you're shy. You just have to get over that challenge. You also have to get over the challenge of letting people see your work. You just can't be afraid to just put your stuff out there. You can't be, you have to let out there, so I think something's never going to be perfect, but you have to go for it anyways. So, so just, if you have a drawing, just go for it, Another thing is don't let people make you feel bad if they say your stuff's too weird. I find that's a thing. Just go for it. That's probably the biggest thing. Just go for it. If you're nervous, just keep going. And also just draws. Another thing is just keep drawing. Just don't stop. I don't think you need to stress yourself over it. But just keep going, because you'll improve. Just drawing all the time. Always just when it makes you happy, not forcing it. Because the more you force it, I feel like the harder it is to enjoy it. So that would be a big thing I think people can work on. It's hard sometimes, especially when you're in school. It's like, oh no, I don't want to keep doing this. You just got to push through it. It's gonna be fun when you go through that. But and staying true to yourself. Always stay true to yourself in your artwork. I think it's just, in the end, it makes you happier, and your stuff will probably turn out more unique for it, instead of going for what everyone else is doing. Just in the end, stay true to what you like doing, and I think it'll show and people will see it.
Also, something that I wanted to ask you, let's say you wake up tomorrow, and you are pretty much in a new universe, nobody knows about you, and you are maybe in a place where there is no art college or something for you to go. Pretty much you have to start from ground zero, but you still have all your knowledge, your skills. What would you do to get to this point where you are right now, starting from zero as soon as possible?
Starting from zero? Well, I would probably just keep drawing. I would still, it'd be hard to, but if I had all the things I knew now but didn't have university, and if we just think that I maybe wouldn't be going to one, and I would, but knowing what I do now, I would try to get in touch with as many people as possible, go to different things, and just keep drawing, going to, it's good to go to like drawing meetups or just figure drawing things where a lot of artists go. But I mean, it's hard when that's something I like so much. I would probably just keep drawing. I say in another universe, if I didn't draw, maybe I would, excavate dinosaur bones or something. But I don't have that. I don't think I'm. I'll stick to drawing the dinosaur bones for now. But so, when I'm so into that, that's probably what I would just keep doing. But I would just draw and find, where I can get my drawings out to the public, and finding new people I can share them with, because it's always the most fun when you can share it with people. But yeah, I would just try to do the same thing I could now. And if I couldn't do anything online, then I would you start leaving your drawings on the wall. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Is there any advice that you would like to give people who are starting into art that we haven't talked about yet?
We haven't talked about. Not so much. Like I say, I think you just gotta keep drawing. Do it. Like I said, try to make it where you can enjoy it. Draw things that you enjoy, because otherwise you get fatigued really fast. It'd be like, I think you should try to draw things outside of your comfort zone and everything. But the most important part, I think, is that you enjoy it. Because it's like, I think if I didn't enjoy it, I mean, gosh, it would just be miserable. Or in, like, let's say you want to make a comic or something. Oh man, if I didn't like what I was doing in the comic, it would just be terrible to just keep drawing page after page. Definitely find something you enjoy, that you really like drawing, and at least when you're doing other things that maybe aren't that, just go back to that and remember this. This is what I like to do. Never make it become work too much, where it becomes kind of unappealing to keep doing it. And yeah, I would say keep going for it. Just shoot for the stars. You'll never know unless you try. And just because if you're not there now, and maybe it'll be a long time, it's different times for everybody. So even if everyone else gets it, you're going to get it too. I believe that.
Do you think that this is something that right now is a doubt that is running in my head? Because it's so far I have seen people that I have been taught by people who were telling me, like, if you really want to get like the bigger opportunities and things like that, you have to be confident in yourself, in your ability, like show this confidence. But now that we are doing like this kind of interviews, I have met with some people who are like really great, who are already doing like the big movies and all that, and they are still shy and they are still like doubting about their art. Like, oh yeah, I'm not that big. And it's like, you kidding? Like, you are doing all these movies that I have gone to see, I have paid to see, and I love them. And it's like, no, I'm not that big. So that's something that I haven't seen other in the work, like just in the work of art. And now I'm starting to doubt this knowledge that you have to be like this confident person that shows their art to the world. Because I'm seeing these guys like thrive and not being confident at all, like being really shy. Do you think that something like key to success, or do you think like pretty much maybe these guys maybe are deception and they were able to break through being shy, or do you think like you can actually make things being shy and like not thinking that you're great even though you are?
I think it's probably a combo of both. I think that it's good to be at least, confident in your work, so what you're putting out there is, you're confident in it. But it's another thing to be like confident and shy at the same time. Like, you can be confident in your work and still be shy. Like I'm so shy. But so the thing is, I think also the good thing with art is that even when you're shy, it can speak for you. So you might have a hard time with it, but a lot of these guys who are like such great artists, their artwork can speak for them. So even when maybe they're not so confident, their art shows, which can help you get farther than even if your words couldn't carry you necessarily. But and I imagine that you know, it's easy to be like be super good, you know, and still be shy because you'd be, you know, because even for no matter what, you still are always, I think, in that point where you always think I can be better or this isn't my best, you know. So it's still easy to probably be a little nervous about it. And I think it's probably something that probably doesn't really go away. But I think as long as you're confident in your art, that's probably the most important thing because it shows, you know, how you I think present it to at least like I say, just be confident, hold a high standard for your art. But I can see, you know, I can totally understand why these guys are really high up there and they're still nervous about it. So I don't think it's 100% necessary to be like the super strong guy. Like I'm so confident. I just, wow, you know, I don't even sweat when I put this out there. I got this handled. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but I think it helps. I mean, as long as, you know, you're not so shy where you can't, you know, get your ideas out. And pretty much if you can explain what you want, even if you're a little shy and awkward about it, if you can get what you want to say out to the people who you need to, I think that's definitely, I think, very important. But it's hard.
Yeah, definitely. If people want to find your art online, where would be the best places to find you?
So definitely my Instagram is a really good place to find my art since I have a post up there every day of all different things. And another good place to find my art is on my where I host my webcomic is a good place to find it. I have a link to it on my website. So those are all good places to find my stuff. My website, my comic, and Instagram are where all my stuff goes, primarily.
Nice. Any last advice before we end this interview?
No, just keep going. Just go crazy. Keep drawing what makes you happy. And I think that's probably the secret to success. You know, success can be big or small, but it's when you're happy. I think that's what matters more than anything else. But anyway, thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for giving us your time and being in this interview. If you have liked it, please push the like button in the YouTube video below, and also share this interview with all your friends so you can spread the knowledge. See you the next time.